Hello, everyone. We're back to discuss the Sweet 16 picks here for the NCAA tournament. First game on Thursday. Take a look at the odds here. Is Texas versus Purdue. Purdue minus 6.5, minus 122 versus Texas getting plus 6.5 at plus 100. That's a tricky game. That it's squeaky, 11 seed Texas. They won the play-in game, and then they won to get to the Sweet 16, obviously, versus Purdue. I still think the Boilermakers win this game. I don't know about the spread. I like them to advance. Might as well just go down here on the odds. The very next game is, wow, who would have thought this matchup? The big shocker, Iowa defeated the number 1 seed Florida Gators. Taking a look at this, you get two Big Ten teams here for a matchup to the Elite Eight. Iowa plus 1.5 versus Nebraska minus 1.5. Iowa plus 112 on the money line. Nebraska minus 134. I do think the Cornhuskers are the slight better team. I like them to advance. Arkansas facing Arizona. This one is really interesting to me. I definitely like Arkansas to cover. Obviously, I don't think they might pull a big upset here. I just don't think they have quite enough to do it. Acuff playing absolutely crazy right now, but I just don't think that the Razorbacks have enough to move on. So I like Arizona to win the game, but if I had to pick, I would take Arkansas plus 8.5. The final matchup for Thursday night, what another great game. Illinois versus Houston. Illinois getting plus 3.5. Houston minus 3.5, minus 102. Illinois plus 134 on the money line. Houston minus 162. Houston absolutely destroyed Texas A&M on Sunday. I think that I would take Illinois. I just like the way they move offensively. I think that they definitely cover the 3.5, possibly win. Minus 162. I don't know if I like Houston to advance the Elite Eight. I know they've been a popular pick in most brackets to even make the Final Four, and that sure helps with Iowa defeating Florida. So Houston's got a great chance to make the Final Four, but I think if I had to pick, I'd still go with the Illini to win the game and obviously cover. So moving on to the Friday night's games. The first one is St. John's versus Duke. Duke obviously looking not the best, and especially in that first round game. Turned it on really against TCU, though, beat them pretty good. So I think Duke, I definitely think they win the game. I don't know if I would play it either way on plus 6.5 St. John's or minus 6.5 Duke. I like the Dukies to move on to the Elite Eight. Michigan is starting to look like the old Michigan. I know there's a lot of worries about how their offense looked in that Big Ten championship game loss versus Purdue. I do think Michigan definitely wins the game. 10.5 points is just too much for me. Alabama, they're going through some team stuff right now. I don't know who's going to show up in this game, but I definitely think that Michigan wins the game to move on to the Elite Eight. Another Michigan team here, Michigan State versus Connecticut. Michigan plus 1.5. Michigan State, mind you, plus 1.5, plus 100 on the money line. So basically this game's a toss-up. What UConn team are you going to get? I just don't know. I like Tom Izzo in tournament time, but also Connecticut. I mean, obviously no slouch either. This is one that I'm just going to sit back and enjoy and watch. I don't think I would bet this game either way. I mean, if I had to pick, I do like Tom Izzo. I think maybe this is the Big Ten's year finally to win a championship. Michigan State moves on to the Elite Eight. Tennessee versus Iowa State. Iowa State really did turn it on versus Kentucky in the second half. Absolutely just throttled them in the second half. I think Iowa State, the Cyclones, are playing really good basketball. I do like them to advance to the Elite Eight and probably cover that game. Also, the Tennessee, so they get another SEC team. I do think they're better than Kentucky, but I do think that Iowa State wins the game, and I would pick Iowa State to cover if I had to. So taking a look at the bracket here, I mean, the major upset, obviously, was Iowa defeating Florida down here. So that one right there, wow. So now we, like as I mentioned before, you get two Big Ten teams here battling to get to the Elite Eight. Like I said here, let me pick it. I don't know if it will. Nope, it didn't. All right, got to go back. It's not letting me pick. But anyway, here's the updated bracket. So you have Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois versus Houston to get to the Elite Eight. And going back up, Duke versus St. John's, Michigan State versus UConn, Arizona. So there's a 1 versus 4 matchup versus Arkansas. Texas, who won the play-in game to get Purdue for championship game. Not championship game, but chance to get to the Elite Eight. And then you have Michigan versus Bama, 1 versus 4. And then Tennessee versus Iowa State. I'm hoping Iowa State wins that game because I think Michigan versus Iowa State for the Elite Eight matchup would be that'd probably be my favorite game to watch. Although I think the game of the week here for the Sweet 16 is Illinois versus Houston. I think that game's going to be very, very interesting. And who knows? I mean, obviously we get a Big Ten team here in the Elite Eight either way, either Iowa or Nebraska. And if Illinois wins that game, we could have Big Ten everywhere around here in the Final Four. So that's going to do it for this week. Hope you all enjoy the games. Have a great week. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. And just remember, don't tick me off. Check yourself and pets for ticks. Please sub.